I'm co-host James Ash.
And I'm co-host Phil Scaife.
Welcome to the Business Lockdown. So, on today's show, welcome Jo and Conor from Supple Society. How are you guys doing?
All good.
Good. Hi Joe, hi Conor.
How you doing?
All right, mate.
Yeah, not bad, man, not bad. Really pleased to have you guys on the show today. Just to bring our audience up to speed, we met each other in Taghazout in Morocco. So I've got a guest or two on already from my time there over October, November, December. Met these guys in Taghazout, a really cool co-working, co-living space called Sundays. And these guys were really getting stuck in, very disciplined as well, into a business plan. They run a retreat business. They have full-time jobs as well. So, you know, they've got a really positive side hustle going on, which we'll certainly tap into and look at how that's having to change over the current climate, the current COVID climate that we're experiencing. But yeah, gentlemen, what is going on? Has everything come to a halt, or are you still able to be working? Have you pivoted with your side hustle? You know, what do your day jobs look like at this moment in time?
Well, yeah, sure. In terms of, main job for me is a personal trainer, physiotherapist, massage therapist. It's a bit of a cocktail of things. So all of that work has come to a halt, with the exception of doing some video consultations, a lot of WhatsApp messages, and just trying to support people from a distance, which is a challenge, but it's opening new doors as well. And then specifically with the retreats and events. So our kind of key focus is about community, and the way that we're connecting community is events, retreats around movement, charity, all kinds of different stuff. Like when we saw you in Morocco, that's where we actually went for our most recent retreat. So yeah, we're in a bit of a challenge at the moment because the whole thing for us is about face-to-face events, getting people away from the screens. But at the same time, the why hasn't changed. The idea for us is connecting communities. And so we ran our first online event yesterday, which was like a 3-part thing. So it was a yoga class taught by our friend Emma, who came on our retreat as well to teach. Then we had a little break, gave everyone a minute to get some tea, and then came back and did like a gratitude meditation and a verbal journal, so to speak. So we got everyone introducing themselves and talking about things they're grateful for, how they're trying to stay positive at these times. So yeah, just like I say, the wise are saying, keeping people socially connected, physically mobile, mentally clear. But yeah, there'll be some challenges ahead as well.
So that was your first online experience yesterday then?
So yeah, we did like a group chat with our community 8 days ago and another one yesterday, but that was our first event. So Emma, through other companies that she works for, she's done a few yoga classes, but for myself, and I believe for Jo as well, it was our first kind of space holding of a community in that environment. But luckily things went really well. Everyone seemed to get something from it. So yeah, it's exciting actually, because in one sense we were a bit apprehensive. What do we do? Do we take a break and reflect on everything? But we put out a few, I guess, feelers on social media, and all of a sudden we're getting messages from friends who are living in Holland and up the north and different places who are saying, shit, I've been watching you guys for months, now I can actually get involved. So in a way, it's a blessing because we've been sort of sped up into connecting a global community, which is the long-term goal for us. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, wow. So you're gonna do more of those then?
Yeah, for sure. The key thing for us is about, I guess, we don't want to fill the calendar too much, just to kind of have crazy things going on every day. We want each event, everything we do is, we put our hearts into it, you know, we really want to add as much value as we can. So we're trying not to rush too much, but yeah, just put everything we can into each event we do. Yeah.
You spoke about gratitude. Can you give us some insight into what people were communicating from their personal points?
Yeah. So what we did is we started with a gratitude meditation, and basically got people to tap into three things. So firstly, a person that they're grateful for. Secondly, a material item. For example, my thing was coffee. But everyone said something different, right? And then the third thing was an experience or opportunity. So we first guided everyone into getting into this state of gratitude, trying to encourage people to be more conscious that gratitude has nothing to do with what's on the outside, it's what's internal. And at the moment, things are being taken away from us. So we wanted to just, like I say, get people focused on what they're grateful for, write that down, and then express it to the group, because it's such a positive mindset shift. What else were people saying, Joe? Can you remember?
I think my favorite one was somebody said they were most grateful. So not everyone shared the deeper thoughts. Like I myself kind of went really personal, so I kind of kept it to myself because I didn't want to bring everyone down a little bit. But but somebody kind of mentioned they're really grateful for the sun, and I was like, the sun, okay, fine. And they were like, but the sun brings so much energy. It brings UV light. It brings vitamin D. It just makes you happy. Because he was having quite a hard time with not being with his partner. And then he was just like, just because the sun's out, he looks out his window, he's in like a loft apartment or a loft room, and he just looks out and the sun's coming in. He's like, this is not too bad. This is good. This is okay. I can get through this. Which was really nice. I just thought that was really cool. Because I mean, we do take the sun for granted because we're always inside on our phones, on our laptops, like watching TV. And it's really weird now we're locked down. People are going out more or going into their gardens more because we can't have the sun. So people are actually grateful for it. It's kind of strange. It's like the wrong way around.
Yeah.
I shared that I said on a previous episode that I spotted on social media and before COVID-19, and it showed a family inside on screens, phones, all with their heads down. And then, during COVID-19, social distancing, and everybody wants to go to the park now and the beach. It's like, it's like that very British thing when we're told we can't do something, we want to do it, right? That's that's very true. And I think as Brits, we have a very strange relationship with the sun and when we get good weather, because there's no real balance, is it? I mean, was it a couple of years ago though, we had that crazy 6 or 8 weeks where it was pretty much belting sunshine every day, it was officially the best summer on record, wasn't it? And because Brits, we get a burst of sunshine, and then we all kind of go crazy because we don't know when it's going to come around again, and then everybody's heads go down kind of November and think, right, we'll come out of this in April, and then hopefully, and then relying on a good summer, and then it tends not to happen, and you can't really plan something. So yeah, we do have an interesting relationship with the sunshine. But have you guys had any retreats cancelled? What were you planning moving forward, and how does that differ now?
So we were actually supposed to be in Bansko a few weeks back and potentially catching up with you there, James. Unfortunately, that did cancelled.
I did mention that to Phil. Do you remember, Phil? Do you remember me saying? Yes, we were looking at that. That's very true. Yeah, that Bulgaria, right?
You were going on a road trip to pick up a car, right?
Yes.
Oh, that would have been awesome. That would have been so much fun. Well, yeah, unfortunately, Bansko cancelled. We were pushing it to the last minute. We were like, it's fine, we'll go out there. And then it got to the point where before lockdown, there was a good chance we were going to be stuck in Bulgaria, which, I mean, you could think of it as a great thing. We were stuck on a ski slope, but in reality, everything was going to be closed. So we cancelled that. And yeah, I guess one of the things we wanted to do was have one really special event each month, as well as doing our charity stuff and our free stuff and meetup, which is not going to happen now. But at the same time, new doors are opening. So, yeah.
How did that look then from you guys from a business point, in terms of that cancellation process? Because there'll be a lot of people out there that had business trips booked as a business, but also people themselves that had a retreat booked, or how was that process? did you guys get your money back? Was the money committed from yourselves and from people who were booked on that? How did that process look? What were the results of having to cancel?
I don't, because of the community we have and like our philosophy and everything that behind us, it wasn't too onerous for the community, because we came into this as kind of, okay, everyone's kind of coming together. This is our first Bansko trip, so we're going to kind of trial it. And then they kind of knew that. So we were honest with them the whole time. And obviously EasyJet kind of cancelled the flights. All of the ski slopes shut down, the resort shut down. So they were encouraging us to go still, because obviously they want the business, and it's hard times for them because they're only small businesses too. But at the end of the day, we're bringing out 9 people, and we can't afford to bring out 9 people and give them a really bad experience. Not that it would be bad being together, but we were going for skiing. So we've refunded everybody's kind of money in terms of that. And we've got refunds ourselves, because the way we do things is when we do kind of build a retreat or kind of make connections and book stuff, we build a real connection with the people we're doing it with. So we found a lady in Bansko who owned a number of Airbnbs, or she managed them. So we made a real connection with her. And then we're going to go back to Bansko. We're going to have a ski trip there. And we told her we will use you, because she was super, super helpful. I mean, if you just put the legwork in at the beginning and just make those connections and make someone's life easier, they'll make your life so easy. And then things will just kind of work out and work themselves out. So it wasn't kind of, it wasn't what you see in the news, all this corporate stuff, everything falling apart. It was very honest, very open, just saying, look, guys, we're really sorry, but we're going to have to cancel it. And everybody was super understanding. And that's kind of the mindset we have in the community already. Everyone understands, everyone knows, everyone knows we're building something special and something unique. So they know we're going to do it again, and we're going to book it in for February next year, or hopefully December, but we're looking for February next year. So all those people are on board to come in February. So it's not a cancellation, it's just a delay.
And you've just gone through a rebranding process, that's right. So you were Supple Strength, and where did that spawn from, and why Supple Strength? And then give us insight into the reasons of rebranding and how that process has gone for you.
So initially, I mentioned I was like a personal trainer and a physio, and then Supple Strength was started as, I don't know if you can see, but right, the logo is based on yin and yang, right? So supple and strength, masculine and feminine, this kind of balance between the two. And that was kind of originated from, I guess, the approach I was taking with clients in the clinic about not just trying to get big and strong and losing all of your mobility, keeping things supple and flexible. Over time, one of the key things I was seeing with clients is that although physically people are having a lot of aches, pains and problems like this, one of the key things that people are struggling with is community. So we're in a good position to bring people together in a way that progresses their rehab physically and also gives them that community. So I guess healing on a more holistic level. Me and Jo have been brothers since we were 4 years old, like at primary school. And then we kind of reconnected again after maybe not speaking too much for a year. There was no hard feelings or anything. And then started to run these group events together, which I think the first one we did was maybe a year ago. And we were just doing 3 things, just testing the market, seeing what people responded to. And then, it really kind of evolved that community side of things. And it's been a pleasure because I'm coming at more from the physio, the side of healing, I guess. And then Joe's been in the corporate world. He's got more of his structure and systems. And that combination has, like I say, helped us evolve over the last couple of years. And then we've had a sticking point essentially because Supple Strength does not market easily. If someone comes up and says, what's the name of the company? James, I think you're a perfect example where you're like, Supple Strength. People are often interested by it, but it's not clear immediately what it is. So after a few months of back and forth, should we rebrand? To be honest, because my ego is attached to Supple Strength. But we've got to that point where, our goal is helping people and reaching a larger audience. And the way to do that is with a name that's easier to understand. So yeah, we shifted to Supple Strength a few weeks ago now. Supple Society. And hopefully that will help propel us slightly as well. So yeah.
Do you have a typical type of client that you serve?
No, so basically the area I'm in kind of general population. So when I was at university, shortly after, I was working with sort of high-level athletes and sport-specific type of work. But for me, that wasn't so interesting. Referencing egos again, there's a lot of that, and you're viewed as like in some examples, to me it was viewed as you're like a servant, and I guess it wasn't really that appealing to me. I kind of like having an open door, and someone comes in, as my shoulders playing up. When I squat, this is happening. I want to learn to do this kettlebell thing, or even you get people coming out of hospital learning to walk again. So it's a really varied approach, which has been really valuable because it has given an insight into many different characters, and we're bringing a center point together, which brings all different types of people from all backgrounds together. So yeah.
I don't think we
spoke about. Oh, so I was going to say you spoke about how you come together really well from the corporate side, and then from like kind of the wellbeing side, which is great. But what pain points have you had during this rebrand process here, especially if you've had like as you said, some attachments with ego based on that as a brand? Has there been any pain points during this process? How has that looked?
I don't feel there's been. It's more as a slow progression.
Right.
I don't feel there's been a pain point, but Joe, maybe you think different.
We're going to come out now.
Joe has left the room.
No, not at all. I mean, I'd resonate with exactly what Conor said. I mean, we've built Supple Strength, and we've built it into what it is now. And the people who are in our community, they know what Supple Strength is, and they have that kind of, they do have an emotional connection with it. So when we say, what does Supple Strength mean to you as a word or two words, they'll tell us what we want to hear because they already know that, or they already have experienced it. I was talking to one of my senior managers in my day job, and he was like, Supple Strength, so you guys must sell supplements or make people stronger or like do some kind of workout stuff. And I was like, no, it's like the opposite of what we do. So like, I 100% resonate with Conor. Like, it's something that we are building a community and a society. So I think Supple Society, it will send that message across, because when people see that, they'll be like, okay, cool. So it's something to do with bringing people together as a society. I'm not part of the society. I want to join it. I don't think we can't put everyone into one bucket. But if we were to put everyone into one bucket, everyone's in the same mindset of exploring new things, doing new things together, meeting new people. We've got people all the way from 21 to 42 in our community, and everyone has such a young soul, you wouldn't know there's an age difference. So it's so nice to just have that kind of there. And the community, I mean, I won't use examples and call people out because it's not fair, but the community does kind of self-regulate itself, and people do kind of leave or kind of think to themselves, okay, this is not for me, I'm going to leave. We haven't ever had to have like those awkward conversations. The community is just such a nice place to be. And I know it's not a place, but you feel like you've got it like a home. So it's just there. It's really cool.
Yes, and you can see it.
So you were gonna do the retreat in Bulgaria, and obviously that things turned against you. How many retreats, like physical retreats, would you normally do in a year? Or
it's such an early stage for us in terms of retreats. So the first one we did was actually January 2019.
Right.
Prior to that, we were doing like climbing meetups or street dancing classes. Actually, that was funny. So the street dance class, just to detour for a second, was a Supple surprise. So we basically didn't tell anyone what was happening. We just said, right, if you're open-minded and you're up for meeting new people, trying something new, come along. And then everyone turned up, and we had a friend of ours who we went to primary school with. He's like an amazing street dancer. So he came and taught everyone, and we ended up out in Brixton until 4 a.m. dancing these new moves. Quick detour, but yeah.
I love it.
Our goal before COVID was this year to have, we were going to have a surfing trip, a skiing trip, a camping trip, and then we had a few other smaller events. So we were going to do like hiking and some kind of Easter hunt thing, different stuff, but there's essentially one thing a month. Some of those would be a day, some of them would be a week. So 12 events a year.
Yeah. And so then post this crisis, will you sort of go back to that? Would you add in the virtual stuff now more regularly as well, or has it changed any of your thinking or your modeling?
I think it's a blessing and a curse, really, because now we've done our first virtual event. It's worked super well. And I mean, everyone's got the 9 to 5 and everyone's super busy. And what we found, we've filled up our events in the past, but what we found when we're trying to sell them to people was I can't get the time off work. So I feel like the virtual stuff will carry on. But as Conor said before, we want to kind of take people away from the screens and get some more face-to-face time and actually make connections, because we have amazing conversations at work and on the virtual events and on the screens. And when we did our meditation and our reflections yesterday, it was really good. And you felt like you were sharing with real people, but at the end of the day, you are staring at the screen still. And you can't we had like a big virtual hug at the end. Because somebody was like, I just really miss hugging people. We might have to get a teddies out next time and just be like, right, hug your teddy.
the 2 meter non-contact hug.
Well, a question I've got that I jotted down was, what's your favourite part of, what's your favourite part of running a retreat? But I expand on that, what's your favourite part of business, of having a side hustle, of working together? You know, it's a bit of a broad question, but yeah, throw that to both of you.
Well, it's pretty cool because we have, obviously we're going to Morocco on the beach and stuff, and we have a photographer friend of ours come with us. So you get banging photos for your Instagram. That's not really true.
We've got to it now. I'm glad. What's that? 22 minutes. We've got to the truth. Yes, it's all about the gram.
Yep.
To be honest, it is the simple things when we're sitting around having a meal together and everyone's just connected, new friendships are forming, and we're filling people's leisure time with community, which this day and age, especially where we're based in London, that is lacking. Unless you're going getting pissed up in the pub, even there, it's hard to build real friendship. And a lot of the people we work with, the people who've travelled in from London, my parents are immigrants, Joe's grandparents, I believe, are immigrants. And we've seen how hard it can be if you step into a new place, such a big city, how hard it is to integrate. So seeing that happen, people integrate and get a lot of value from the community, for me is the most important part, followed by the Instagram photos.
Let's get that in there. You must be so proud when you can sit back, when you've got people doing activities and even more so on the retreats, and you guys stand back and must have a moment where you look at each other and you don't even need to say anything because your guests are all just connecting and engaging with each other, and you're not having, the job is almost done, the work is done, right? You can just let that happen, and you've provided such an opportunity and situation for people to do so. It's really incredible. One thing that's been coming through from, I'd say, 90% of everybody that we interview is routine. Is like what people are really struggling with at the moment is a lack of routine or implementing a routine. How is that with you guys on a personal point, and then also with business as well? How that's how have you implemented a routine with business? How has that changed?
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm actually personally struggling quite a bit with COVID and being locked in. It's like it's having quite a big effect on me, because I'm in my family home, and I probably spend, I worked out the other day, it's 3 or 4 hours maximum here awake in the house, because I'm either at work doing my 9 to 5, or I'm out playing rugby or socializing, or I'll be with Conor and we'll be doing something. So it's quite hard to be in the house 24/7 doing the same thing every day. And I miss my activities. So it's having a big effect on like the way I'm thinking, the way I'm doing things. But I think routine for me, my routine's got maybe a bit better because I've started cycling 12 miles in the morning, which is really good for me because it keeps me healthy, gives me a chance to get out and not think about anything, get off my phone. And that's like 45 minutes where I'm just doing activities, breathing good air because there's no cars on the road. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then the bad part of it is my actual day job's got even busier. So I'm working from probably 8 till 8 or 8 till 7. Because people, when you're at your desk, people just expect you to be online all the time because you've got your laptop open, you're at home. And you get into that kind of mental kind of space where home is now work. And if you're at home, you get bored. So I'm like, I'll just open up my laptop or I'll just carry on doing this last thing or something like that. So it's difficult to go 5:30 or 6 o'clock, done, shut your laptop, no more work stuff. Please leave me alone, everybody.
Yeah.
And then go and do something. So yeah, personally, I mean, I need to get better at my routine. But it's getting there. Just coming to terms with things, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for the discipline of working from home compared to just that commute of whatever description it is, the commute to be somewhere else where you do your work and then commute back and being able to switch between your two different avatars. I've struggled with the same thing. But there's people everywhere who actually work from home and they've managed to work it out. And they've managed to be these two different people, but in the same physical space. And I think that's the book I want to read. the instruction manual to how to do that, because I think it's a skill. I think it's a skill that you don't automatically get.
Definitely. And I think when I'm at work, so I feed off other people's creativity and I feed off other people's energy. And when I'm at home, so my mum, my sister are here, my brother's here, they've all got different jobs to me and we're not kind of working together. We're doing different things and I can't feed off them. When I'm at work, I can literally stand up and go to another person in my team and go, let's go make a video. They're like, why? It's like, because let's just go do it. And it's that kind of just get in a room, whiteboard stuff, and then get back to the serious stuff afterwards. You can't have that at home. It's just not, and it's the space as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I can work in both ways. I mean, I've worked from home for years and had physical offices as well in studios. And I think there's a lot to be said of, as you said, of going to a workspace. You know, you separate your work and life balance, your home setting. And I think that's one thing I'm struggling with now is not going to a gym. You know, not going to exercise. I get up in the morning, have my stuff ready, and go to a gym. Whereas I think working from home, I mean, I love when I'm getting if there's meetings that have gone on and I tell people to record them and then I know that that's coming through. So I make sure, you know, like my bathroom will get a really good spring clean when I've got a meeting to catch up to, because I really struggle sitting and listening to, you know, just kind of sat there and listening. And I need to be making the most of that time and to be able to spin 2 or 3 plates. You know, we'll be in, say, like with a morning meeting with the team, and sometimes I'm just like, right, I need to, I might be juicing some oranges because I'm more focused with what they're saying and I'm taking it in more because I've got kind of something happening at the same time or prepping my lunch or whatever. So I need to be capitalising, maximising on that time and not just sitting there, as you said, just sitting there with your laptop open. I think sometimes, having your Bluetooth headphones and just, engaging in a meeting whilst you're working on, that certainly works for me. But it can go the other way as well, as you guys are experiencing. It can be a struggle, especially Phil. Phil's got 3 9-year-old, 6-year-old and a 20-month-old at home. That's which is very different than my setup. So that brings its other challenges, of course.
I think time is the big thing, isn't it? You've either got too much of it and it's driving you a bit crazy, or you've just got so little. Like obviously having the kids as well, you got so little and that's driving you crazy. I think time means very different things in lockdown to different people in different circumstances. So yeah, I remember one of the meetings James and I had where you were cooking dinner and I went off to tidy the garage. So it's like, right, we've got an hour. Let's have a meeting with both headphones in.
You're like, you were in your garage going, it's been months I've been trying to do this and I haven't got my head into it. And I was just like, and I said too, it's brilliant, isn't it? Like, it's absolutely brilliant when you're, okay, I'll hold off cleaning that because I know I've got a meeting at some point to get into.
My biggest lockdown success, and I was going to ask you guys what your lockdown success is, if you've got any. Mine is finally putting my Christmas decorations away. So,
good effort, man.
Thank you.
Well, that's a tough question.
That's brutal.
Lockdown success. Mine would be communication. And last night was my favourite one. So 2005, I coached in San Francisco, San Jose with the MLS Earthquakes and youth development. And for 3 months of that contract, I stayed with a family. Paul was a guy in a house, and I had who were my sisters, Megan and Kylie. And I tried to get hold of Megan, and she called me back yesterday, and she called Paul and didn't tell him, and then the three of us are on, and I came away from there, my cheeks were aching, and like my eyes were like on fire because I was just feeling so much emotion. That was just phenomenal. Absolutely. We just didn't stop laughing. And Paul's going back to old photographs of like when we were out there, and it was just like, it's awesome. So yeah, communication certainly for me has been the big one, absolute big one. What about you guys?
I would say for me it has been routine. So I've worked mostly from home for about 6 years now, because the clinic is 50 meters from my bedroom. So mostly I work from home, but I have many areas that I'm always trying to develop and many interests, like reading, meditation, journaling, exercise, just a wide range of different things, and music skills. And it's always tough if, as you mentioned, so with working from home, Joe, for you, if in my example, if someone calls me, like my back's gone, like I really need an appointment, I'm going on holiday tomorrow with my shoulder, then there's always a temptation just to say, yeah, come in. And you end up almost giving too much of yourself without filling your own cup. So not having that temptation to just constantly see more people has allowed me to finally establish a more sound routine to get all of, I guess, what I consider my essential foundations set. And hopefully, as we come back out of lockdown, I can maintain that discipline, as you said, Phil, try and really stick with that, and then allow my work to come on top of that, instead of just whirlwind and seeing someone here, seeing someone there. I won't meditate today, when I know if I stick to my routine, I'm operating at completely different frequencies. So yeah, routine is my success.
Yeah, I like that. You got kind of like your non-negotiable foundation there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think mine's quite broad. I mean, my biggest success is, and I'm by no means a glass half full kind of person. I'm glass half empty kind of person. I'm glass half full. But I think I've got a little bit of faith restored in humanity, because I think seeing people do the things they are, like coming out clapping for the NHS, staying at home and taking it seriously, and actually doing good and getting out, delivering stuff for the elderly and people who can't leave and people who are critical to all of this. I think that faith has been restored a little bit. And given that my life before COVID was 1,000 miles an hour and I wasn't stopping apart from to go to sleep or to eat, and even when I was eating, I was doing something. I think having that time, it's a real struggle for me to figure out what to do with it and kind of slow my life down and come back to the pace. But I think it's also a blessing in terms of, all right, use this opportunity. And then as Conor said, like, what do I want to do? What do I need? What do I kind of feel like I should be doing for myself, rather than kind of doing everything for everybody at the same time and pleasing everybody else? I know it's lovely to do that and you get a really good feeling to do that. But then at the end of the day, when you go to bed, can you say to yourself, I've done this one or two things for me that helped build me and made me feel better? So I think it's having that and then slowly coming to terms with that and then figuring out what to do with it. So any advice, just come at me.
Lockdown's not finished yet. You've got plenty of time to work out what to do with it.
Yeah, true.
Well, before we wrap up, boys, I'm curious, right? So people who are listening on a podcast won't be able to see, but Joe is in a man shed right now, and before we press the record button, he spun the camera and showed us. He gave us a little view of his man shed. So, first of all, can you spin the camera around and show us again, because it's pretty awesome.
All right, we've got the dartboard behind me. I'm terrible at darts, but then we've got a little bookcase and then a mirror, and then we've got the whole pool table going on, some weights. Yeah, so my dad built this at the end of the garden. It was a project for a couple of years. So this is my safe haven. I've got Wi-Fi in here.
There's a lot of flags on the ceiling. To wrap this up, my final question would be: is there a story that links with one of those flags that that springs to mind that you can share with us?
So every flag has a story, because my dad's asked people to give him flags or something. So everything in the shed has a story. So someone's gifted them to us. But I have a flag here actually, and I'm gonna have to move over. So that's a Dublin flag. You can see dark blue, light blue. So my mum and dad's parents are from Dublin. So that's kind of why we've got that in there. We've got the Mayo flag in here too. And then I've got the Cuban flag, because that was an amazing holiday for me. So that's why I brought it back. No amazing stories behind it, just experiences.
I'm sure if we delve deeper, I'm sure there would be a few tales from your Cuban adventure. But
we'll keep that one on the wraps.
Next time we have you guys on, that's going to be the first question.
What happened in Cuba?
On that note, guys, where can people find you? What's your website and social hooks, so people can take a look and give you a shout?
So Instagram, Supple Society, website, supplesociety.com, and Facebook, Supple Society, /Supple Society. Yeah, and Twitter as well, all over. But the main one we're really active on is Instagram. So.
Instagram, cool. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, gents. It's great connecting with you as always. I speak for Phil and I, who just love connecting with people, and especially people who just seem to love business and have entrepreneurial spirit about them. And I spotted that straight away with you guys in Taghazout in Morocco. So it was just a pleasure keeping an ear out and hearing what you were discussing and stuff, and then tapping into that at the end of the day, or sat there, and it was really, really cool. As well as bodyboarding as well, and Halloween parties and stuff. So she's still got the scars. Yeah, we were stung by a jellyfish. Been stung by a jellyfish. That's episode 2. That's the second edition. Cuba and jellyfish.
I just have a question then, Joe. Have you got a Morocco flag up there then?
That's really awkward.
The jellyfish took it.
I did have to get $5 to send one over, or Magda.
Guys, it's an absolute pleasure, and you've got a great thing going on, and it's guaranteed to succeed because of you guys are behind it. I have every confidence in you and in your retreats and your business moving forward. So all the best, and thanks very much for being on today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Amazing.
Cheers,
Have a
guys.
good one. Thanks, Phil.
Cheers.
Take care. Good to meet you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Business Lockdown.
Please comment, like, share and subscribe to help build our global community.
We look forward to seeing you all soon.